Oh, sorry, the recording warning went on. What's just been the focus going into tomorrow's game, trying to rebound from a disappointing game on Thursday, but also knowing that Dallas is, a separate team with its own challenges. How much did you look back at Thursday's game to see like kind of what went wrong versus like turning the page and focusing mostly on the Wings and the challenges they present?
Yeah, can you hear me? Obviously,
Yep.
we had an early flight out, got into Dallas, did some recovery stuff with the team, including a great yoga session. And then my assistant coaches had individual film with all the players. And that's how we tackled wrapping up the Seattle game and showing things that we could have done differently or better. And then we turned the page and immediately started focusing on Dallas and the preparation and sprint to the finish line that these 12 games are going to be. So, some of it correlates. There's some things that translate from Seattle to Dallas in terms of, actions that they use. Obviously, Enrique and some of the talented Dallas players, it translates to Seattle. So, you get to work and then we have 1 day prep and we're just getting out of our practice and a long film session with no shoot around tomorrow for our prep on Dallas.
I'm not sure if you saw since you were in practice, but Sachu Sabali was listed as out for tomorrow. So I'm just curious, especially since she had a big game against you guys when you first played earlier this year, how does Dallas change with her not on the court?
Certainly something that maybe they had been planning for and none of us knew. We learned in the middle of practice. Does it change our approach much? They're really deep. They're really talented and young. They're explosive offensively. They have a lot of weapons. Again, they shoot a ton of threes. So obviously you never take a great player out of the lineup and are the same, but obviously we have tons of respect for their depth. We have tons of respect for their players and their ability to really offensively challenge you. They can really score. They can play up tempo. They can shoot the three. And arguably except with us, they're arguably the best offensive rebounding team in the league. So still a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things to scheme and plan for.
Thank you.
Yep.
Ron, you can go ahead.
Hi, Kurt. How are you?
Ron.
Well, first of all, we look forward to seeing you. And I know Reagan and I are excited to have you come to Dallas. Talk about your keys for tomorrow, because the Wings are coming off a couple of losses, didn't play well, very disappointed. You may have knocked some rust off. They haven't. But what are your keys for the game tomorrow?
Looking at ourselves, obviously the disappointing of the 26 turnovers the other night. So again, we played a second half against Dallas in our win against them with 3 turnovers in an entire half. It was key for our comeback. We got aggressive, got to the foul line against Dallas in that second half. Dewana, DB, was really aggressive off the bounce. So, for us, it's that intensity. It's, can we stay aggressive and really stay in attack mode with intent to play through the paint, play through our 3-4-5. So, when we controlled our turnovers, we got shots on goal. We got to the foul line against Dallas. We had a really good half and came away with a win without JJ. And again, for us, all starts with our transition defense against the ability of Dallas to really get up and down and play in transition. It's us keeping them off the glass. It's us trying to make everything as difficult as possible. One of the best one-on-one teams in the league, out of system, as we call it, out of system. When plays break down or they don't execute to a shot with their first action, you could argue they're the best out of system team in the league. So you got to sit in a stance. You've got to guard late in shot clocks with a terrific variety of one-on-one players.
What do you do specifically against Enrique? Obviously, we saw what you did in the All-Star game, but what did you do in that first game that you want to improve on against her?
Yeah, I think our MO has been the same since she's got into the league with us, is she's going to get her points. And we got to understand that. Can we make her high volume? Can we make her have to take a lot of shots to get her points? Can we affect the efficiency? When Rike has really hurt us is when her efficiency numbers are off the charts. Never look at the bottom line point total. She could score 30, but if she had to take 25 shots to do that, we're okay with that. But if she gets 25 and took 10 shots, or she gets, 24 and she took 9 shots, then that's a problem. So it's just trying to, make it as hard as possible and make her as inefficient as you possibly can. You can't worry about bottom line numbers, Ron. She's going to get her numbers. She's going to get her points.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to seeing you.
Always look forward to seeing you, Ron. Thanks for all you do.
Jacqueline, you can go ahead.
Hey, Kurt, just thinking back to Thursday's game, you've said in the past that when you play Seattle and when you play Stewie and Lloyd and Bird, you guys always learn things about yourself, specifically from Thursday's game and then watching that film. Just what things have you learned? And then, I know there was a whole bunch of money on the line and players playing for that, but with it kind of being an exhibition game before this second half of the season, how kind of advantageous is it that, you got that third matchup with Seattle before starting the second half?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, we've now moved forward, but it was disappointing. But you have to remind them that we put ourselves in the position to be in that game, the best record in the East, the best record overall in the Commissioner Cup. And they've earned that $10,000. It would have been great to have 30,000 and win that game. Absolutely. But what we learned is elite players in this league can make contested shots. This league is filled with nearly 140 people, the most talented women's basketball players in the world, that make open shots. Elite players in this league make contested shots. And when you go back and watch that film, especially in the first quarter, they scored 28 points and they scored 17 in a hurry that second half of the quarter. They were contested. Stewie's shots were contested by a 6'6" post player. We made Lloyd make some tough shots. But we certainly learned. We didn't execute some of the things that we had hoped to execute. We turned the ball over. We self-destructed in some of those areas. But what you learn is, great teams make contested shots, and Seattle really did that. So we've got to turn the page, and we know we got to be better. We got big goals this year, and now it's a sprint. We have 7 games in a 17-day window in August. That's our focus right now, and we start with Dallas tomorrow night.
Thinking about the turnovers, I know that has been a focus throughout the entire season. I'm curious from your point of view as a coach and with your coaching staff, like, how do you usually attack something like turnovers and, how you guys improve on that for the rest of the season?
Yeah, film doesn't lie. I mean, you can get back in the film room and show that, is it our spacing? Are they forced? Is it a compliment to the defense and understanding the scheme that maybe bothered us, or was it ourselves? And did we make it a lot harder on ourselves? And those are always the discussion in turnovers. There's a thin line with turnovers. We took 5 more shots in that game than Seattle and had 26 turnovers. If we get to that 12 or 13 threshold of turnovers in a game like we like, if you're telling me right now that we could have gotten 13 more shots in that game to end up having 18 more shots than Seattle, the game's different, but it didn't play out that way. So you got to get in the film room, which we have. You got to show them, how their defense hurt us, but also how we hurt ourselves, and just force things, or keeping things simple. What were things that we could have just been more solid ourselves with, that we had self-inflicted wounds, as I call them. We had a lot of self-inflicted wounds throughout that game.
Thanks, Kurt. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. You're all set. We'll bring over Dejanay. Okay, we'll go ahead and open it up to some questions for Dejanay. Please raise your hand. Ron, you can go first. Oh, you're on mute.
Hi, Dejanay. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Welcome back to Texas.
Thank you.
We kept the heat for you just to make you feel comfortable. Dejanay, one thing that Kurt said after the game against Seattle, one of the positives was the second unit got a lot of minutes, including you, and he thinks that's going to really help him. How have you grown in your first year in the league?
I think it's just a lot of like listening and asking a lot of questions. I know my vets are probably tired of me because I ask them questions all the time about everything that we do. But that's really just how I learn, is trying to sit down and just pick the game apart and look at the layers beyond just who's guarding me, look at the second line of defense and all of that. So that's really been the biggest thing, just slowing down and actually reading what's happening instead of just go, go, go.
Was the break good for you in the fact that it was go, 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 like you mentioned, the first 20 games or whatever it was? Now you had a break to kind of self-reflect, get a little perspective, self-scout, and get mentally break good for you?
Yeah, I mean, everyone I know needed just a little reset, and that's really what it was for me, was just a reset. And but like you said, it was very, very go, go, go the first half of the season, but we're about to be right back in that with 7 games in the next 2.5 weeks. So we just got to get our feet wet again and get our wind under us and all of that. But we had really, really good practices leading up into this restart of the season, so I'm excited.
Alexa?
Hi, Dejanay. What's just been the focus going into tomorrow's game? Also, just knowing that after, a little bit of a disappointing night on Thursday, that this is, a game that actually does matter standings wise. And it's the official resumption of the season. And I'm sure you guys are looking to get back on the right foot.
Yeah, we're focused on ourselves. Everybody knows that we didn't play well last game, but we're not going to sulk on that and just keep visiting how bad we played. We're getting back to what we did prior to that game and just focusing on ourselves, focusing on our defense, focusing on playing through who we need to play through, just getting back to our identity and not so much focusing on that last game in particular.
And having played Dallas before, you guys are well aware of the challenges they present. But what are just some of the focuses when you look at the scouting report that they do present?
I mean, it always starts with Enrique for Dallas. She's one of the best scorers in the league, and she's very, very quick, and she can score from all areas on the court. So it's obviously going to start with her. But they also have other guards who are really talented as well. So we just really have to focus on that and make sure that we're also rebounding, because they're a really good offensive rebounding team, but as are we. So it's going to be a battle on the boards for sure, for those extra possessions.
Thank you.
You have to move back.
Jacqueline?
Dejanay, kind of going off of Ron's question earlier, I know what the overall team goal for the season is and, getting to that championship and winning it. But personally, just what are some goals you have for the rest of the season?
Just to grow, and I feel myself getting better each day in practice. Just being more comfortable out there and making the right reads in the right plays. So just get my turnovers down and to take good shots. That's really my focus, and then always to be locked in defensively and make the other person uncomfortable, whether that's getting a steal, whether that's getting a deflection, or whether that's just pushing their catch out further and making them have to use more time on the shot clock. So just those 3 focuses for me personally.
Thank you.
All right, you're all set. Thank you, Dejanay.